Welcome to the Essence of Me and Freedom Please channel. This is Craft and Chat with Dana. So, what's the deal? Pickles. Y'all, this was the first time in a long time that I scheduled a live. So, I am hoping everything looks okay because I never scheduled it and then had to start it up from that place. So, with that said, I'm going to actually dive right in because I had plans to sort of paint and chat. And then yesterday, I had a few extra, like I had some time, some free time yesterday. So I was actually able to paint or practice painting the exercise that I had. So I'm going to share that with you. I'll also give some updates on what I worked on this week. And yeah, so we can chop it up in the comments, or if you comment here, I'll try my best to look out for it. But y'all, I really want to use this as time to get stuff like moving. For the conversation that we're going to have, I'm hoping my notes show up, but I want to talk about something that I shared in my notes or recently on one of my shorts and also one of my most recent videos with me cutting my hair. And there's a topic I want to talk about because here people ask the question, people asked it when I posted it on TikTok, and I think it's really something. I don't know. I don't want to say it's interesting, but it is. So anyways, we'll talk about it. Okay. So before we talk about basically like transformation and kind of some of the reasons that led to me cutting my hair, it's not just about the hair. If you're not a hair person, it's so much bigger than that, but we'll talk about it. So first I'm going to show you the piece that, oh, I want to show you what we worked on this week for the watercolor class. And I'm going to warn you that my pieces are not done. I need to finish them, but I can't finish them on video because I need to look at the instructions. Okay. So they're half done is what I'm saying. Okay. First of all, I have these, and this looks a little bit weird, but right here is there. I will be painting some like rolling heels, and this one as well. Yeah, I have two of them because I showed up to class late, and I saw her working on two, and I was thinking, oh, maybe she's prepping for both at the same time. So I started prepping for two, and then all of a sudden I realized, oh, she was prepping for two because she was trying out two different types of watercolor paper. Y'all, so I got two. And then the other one, again, that's not finished, is this one. I need to put like my little stars, like we put stars in a quote. I don't know what quote I want to put, and I want to put the stars on here. I don't like doing splattering. I realize I don't like being messy. Y'all, that's a whole nother subject. I don't really like being messy. I don't like splatters splatting everywhere. So I would plan to do them with a gel pen or an acrylic pen and just do them like manually. So I'm going to finish this. It probably won't be today because, again, I cannot talk and do it. The other part for my watercolor that I did this week is this. And this is what I was planning to do as I talk to you guys today. And this is sort of like, I don't know. I need to work on it a little bit because I need to erase all of my pencil lines. I do need to do that. So I might do a little bit of that while we're talking. But yeah, it's like, it's kind of like a relaxation. Like you sit and you're just like filling in boxes. I like that. You just pick paints, fill in boxes. And I had a whole lot of fun doing it. So I think I'm going to do more of this. And this is my first completed spread in my watercolor journal. So I feel proud of that. Now, the other one that I started, y'all, this is why I need, this is, this is why I need lines to fill in because this right here, I don't know what this is. I'll figure it out. I'm gonna figure it out later. I'll figure it out later. Okay, I'm gonna move that to the side so that I can also show you. Oh, I have a picture to show for quilting. Y'all, I finished. I have to show it like this because I can't do it in edits. I hope you can see it. Um, Here's the picture. Oh, you can see it a little bit, but not really. There is a little bit. I'm sorry. I finished the laying out the potato chip blocks, and it looks so good, but I don't think I'm done. I don't think I'm done. I was staring at it and I realized that I think I want to put sashing. I think I want to put sashing. And so I went to my closet and I looked to see if I had enough black, and I do. And so I think I'm gonna put sash in. So I'm not gonna sew them together. I earlier today I went in and sort of did my loose measurements and like how much fabric I need to cut and all of that. And I'm just gonna let it take whatever time it takes. I mean, it's taken me this long to finish it. So I'm not in a hurry. So I'm gonna work on that. And that was actually one of the things I thought, oh, I could cut and talk, but I don't want to mess it up because I don't have that much black and I don't want to have to go somewhere to buy some more black because I still haven't found the place that I want to use to buy my bolts. So I need to figure that out still since Joann's is gone. So yeah, so that's what I did. I don't have a picture of it, but I prepped all of my rag quilt blocks. All of them are prepped. So now I'm going through and I'm sewing the X's on the top, or, sewing the X's through them. And so I'm excited about that. My goal is to have that quilt finished by the Super Bowl. Y'all, I don't know if that's going to happen. I really wanted to do it before the football season was over. And I mean, that ends with the Super Bowl. Y'all, we're going to just roll with it, roll with it, roll with it. So those are my updates on the quilts that I'm working on. And so those are going well. The final quilt update that I have that's technically not quilting, but it is using fabric, is I've been thinking about how to make fabric tabs for my prayer Bible. And I was looking at, like, there was one person, I saw one, but she just had fabric tabs, but she didn't have a tutorial. She didn't say how they were made. Then I started kind of going down the rabbit trail and I found some people that were doing, I think they called them, no, I was saying it wrong. Not fabric tabs. I want to do fabric labels. And I saw people doing fabric tags that was something like what I had in mind. But when they started doing them, it felt more a like like collaging. I don't have a better way of saying it, but it felt like collaging. And that's not what I wanted. I thought that would make the Bible too bulky. It would probably be way too heavy on the actual Bible page. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do. So what I did was I went into one of my scrap bins and I started digging around. And in this scrap bin, I have a lot of scraps. Ugh, I'm supposed to be working while I talk. Hard pause. I'm going to talk about the scraps. So while I'm talking today, I'm going to go back to the fabric labels and then I'm going to go to the topic. Y'all, hard pause. This is when you should be working. That is what these are for us to chat and work. If you don't have anything to work on, you can come back, push play, and I'm going to keep you company. Okay? I would love for you to comment, but I'd love for you to work more because then I think you come back. Like when you see it scheduled, you would set aside a project to come chill with your girl, work on something. So I'm going to work on the something as I tell you about what my plans are for potentially trying fabric labels, not tags. But here's what I'm working on. Hold on, I gotta clear my space. Y'all, I literally was prepped for anything. I have my palettes if I wanted to paint. And I'm just gonna do this like this. And I still might paint. We're gonna be here, I think, for about an hour. I have to be so careful with these porcelain ones. I love how they mix. I love how they look. I love how they feel. I don't love how they store. But I feel like, you know, you can't get it all. You got to just go with what you have. Okay, so I'm going to try to move everything so that I can have room to lay this project out. So what I'm going to work on while I'm talking to you is I'm starting to prep my Kawandi, my second Kawandi quilt. And I just realized I don't know if I have the right thread. I'll figure it out in a little bit. So I've prepped it. I'll tell you what I have and then I'll go back to the labels. So what I've done is I have the background fabric and I have the batting and I have it basted so that I could just start laying out. This is actually pretty big. Start laying this out and start putting my first pieces on here. Let me move my brushes. So I have some room. I am drinking a cup of my favorite coffee right now, which is the Toasted Graham Starbucks coffee. I love this coffee. I normally only have 1 cup a day because it is strong. It is super strong. But today, for you, I'm going to have another. And I'm putting it on my mug rug that I did as like a scrappy like crumb like mug rug that I used a piece of I used scraps to build the front and the back. I love this mug rug. Okay, so here we go. I took the Kawandi class at the Quilt Festival this past year. If you watched that recap video, I told you guys all about it, so you can look at it in my videos. I'm gonna also get out I have my sewing kit, my butterfly sewing kit, and I'm hoping, okay, I use this, this is, I can use for my pens, and I have the little kit that she gave us in the class. I think I do. I think I do. I think I do. I do. And there is a thimble. I also have some thread in here that she gave us and the needle. I actually may use everything. I finished the one that we did there. I'm going to use a different, here's the, what do you call it? I always want to say thimble that she made us. It's leather. It is so beautiful and it feels so soft. So I'm going to just put these here. I'm not going to use the thread that she used. I'm going to use one of the threads that I already love using, which are my quilting threads. I love to use the Coats and Clark. I know this is technically a cheap form of thread, but y'all, I love this thread. I love this thread for this. Well, I love this thread for doing my hexies or my hexies where I'm quilts as you go hexies. I love it. I just love it. And it's thick enough, but it's not too thick. It's pretty easy to find. It doesn't break. It does. I haven't had any issues with knotting, and it doesn't feel waxy. Like it just, I like it. I like it. So the point is, this is what we're going to do. Okay, I just need some scissors. And I don't know what kind of thread she gave us. I know I used it in the class, so it can't be bad. But I have my staple colors, which is white, gray, and black. And I kind of think for this, I want to use gray because it will match with all the other colors. This is from my husband. I ain't gonna say that I'm gonna leave it at that. It's from my husband. Okay, I just realized I don't have scissors. Oh, I do have scissors. I have little scissors to cut the thread, but I need... Okay, I have scissors. Y'all, I love these scissors. They're technically a little small. I should have got the others. This container is full with different types of fabrics that I prepped to do this. Different Cowboys fabrics. I put some fabrics that would sort of represent all of us because this is for my husband. I tried to do colors that would represent us. I even have one that's a butterfly. So I think this is going to be fun. Okay. I don't know how I'm going to do this. How do I want to do it though? I think, I think, you know what? I think I'm going to start with the big piece. Whenever you're doing the outside edges, I'm going to do a big piece. These may be too small. Okay. This is not meant to be a tutorial. I'm going to try to show you a little bit of what I'm doing, but it's not meant to be a tutorial. Okay. So, and if you really are interested in this, I would strongly suggest doing a search on YouTube. Now, my past experience was there wasn't a lot of great examples for how to do this, which is why I took the class at the Quilt Festival. But since then, I have seen a couple more. But with that said, I basted my backing fabric onto the batting. And whenever you're doing a Kawandi, you already have, let me do one more caveat. Y'all, this is close to a traditional quilt that I think it was Indians or Africans in an Indian country. Y'all, just look it up. So I don't want to butcher that at all. And if you go back to my studio vlog where I talk about it, I do tell a little bit more. So just don't take this for an authentic demonstration. I'm going to show you how to do it, but it's just, you know, the technicalities. One of the things that's really cool about this process is that you are sewing it in. You are closing off the quilt from the beginning, right? And so when you do your first ones, you are folding them under and then you're top stitching all the way around. I mean, we would call it top stitching. So these first ones are pretty tight to do because you're sewing through the backing, you're sewing through the batting, the top piece, and on the ends, you are sewing through the like, I would call it like the lip that's folded under. I'm gonna get it going and then I'll show you. But you basically, I'm gonna turn it around. I'm trying not to lose my hem. This is the corner, and you take your piece that you're sewing down and you fold it under. At least, I mean, you could do it whatever you want. I usually, I guess by default, naturally almost do a quarter of an inch because my eye is always trained to a quarter of an inch. And once you do that, you line it up. Now, this is hard to do like this, but I'm just showing this so that once I start rolling, y'all, once I start rolling, I can start talking. You line it up like this. And so that corner is established, that edge is established, and you're going right along that edge for this first piece. And then you just keep adding pieces as you go. And when you're done, it'll be all done. I'll show it as I go. But yeah, I don't know how to if I were doing this from a top down and was doing a true demonstration like you would CC, but yeah, we just got to roll with it. Okay. So I'll say the last little bit about the labels. Oh, one more thing about this. I'm going to fold it under and I'm going to put some of these little binder clips so that it'll hold it in place so that I'm not fiddling and that I could be more concerned with the sewing than holding all the pieces together. And so that's what I'm doing right now. The first ones, y'all, I feel like it's going to feel like I'm manhandling this because this is a lot of layers. But I think it's going to be worth it. And I don't think the lady, when she taught the class, I don't think she basted hers. I basted mine because, number one, I found out that I absolutely love basting. I don't know why. It is so much fun to me. And number two, I think, if you're trying to do all that, they're using a lot of recycled materials and things like that. Using thread to just pull it out would probably be considered a waste. But when I baste, because I bought this basting thread, I actually reuse my basting threads. So, I mean, it's a little bit like recycling. A little bit, not really. Okay, now. What did I do with it that fast? Dana. Oh, okay. I was like, what did I do with the needle? Y'all thought I lost it. I do that all the time. Okay, I think I want to do the gray. I think I am going to do the gray. I'm going to do the gray. So the fabric labels I think would be so nice, and I don't want to do it the way that I saw them making them for the um for the fabric tabs, because the fabric tabs in all of the tutorials that I saw were fairly chunky. And if you know, Bible pages are very thin. And so I did not want to, I'm going to do a quilter's knot. I don't think she did a quilter's knot, but ever since I started doing like the slow stitching, it's just easy to do. And so I'll just do a quilter's knot. And then of course it gets tangled. Why? Why, Sway? I said all that about this thread and then it wants to act up. Okay. So there we go. Oh. Y'all, this has never happened on this, with this thread to me. I did something. You know what? I know what I did. I put it on the wrong end. And I'm going against the grain. Let's fix that right now. I did not realize, this is a squirrel moment, I apologize. I did not realize that whenever you use these needles that there's a little like a little something on the inside of there that sort of helps to try to keep the needle from slipping out. Like, I don't remember what class told me that, and that wasn't very, I didn't explain that very well. Okay. So I went back to the labels. I went through, let me try this one more time. Quilter's knot. Can you see? Oh, I'm gonna do it right here. See that? Because you can see it against my. You put your thread across it like a X. If I'm doing this, I will wrap it around 3 times. If I am doing something temporary like hexies, I will do it twice if I'm doing that, or if it's a real fine needle, I'll do it twice. And I was in one of the hand sewing classes. They recommend not cutting the tail because normally, you snip the tail once you have the knot. And mainly, it was because having that loose thread sort of getting lost in your batting helps with making it a little bit more secure. And so, yeah, I'm going to fold this just a little bit more. And I'm going to go between my folds and out. Oh, I'm not doing, okay. The traditional Kawandi has a little like, it's like a tassel almost like thing on the edge. I'm not going to do that for this one. I'm not going to do it for this one. And I know that's not making it a traditional one. I'm making this more like a prayer um, quilt for my husband. Um, right now, and I won't be praying because I'm talking, but once like I stop and I go back through, I'll be doing more, and I'll be I have scriptures and stuff that I'm praying for him. So with that said, the and what I think this is the final thing. I'm sorry for stopping. Whenever I start this particular project, because the edges are so thick, to me it feels more like stab stitch sewing, not like doing long running stitches, because I'm going through so many layers. And so I think it just slows you down, and I'm okay with it. And I put my stitches pretty close on this first round because it's also how your quilt, or your this it is, I'm going to call it a quilt, it is also how your quilt is closed, right? And so I do them sort of small on when I'm starting, and once I get through a couple more stitches I'll show you. Okay, I think that's it for right now. Okay, so when I went through and saw the fabric tabs, I thought they looked so cute, and I liked the layers, but the pages on a Bible are thin, like I said, and I don't think that they will work. However, I do think, I'm going to show you. Camera's there. See those stitches? And I just have the clip holding it, and I can just run with it. I really should do it the other way. I'm talking and I'm sewing in the wrong direction, y'all, but it's going to be what it is. It's already started. So I thought, though, that I have these bins full of scrap fabric, and every time I try to say I'm going to get rid of it, I don't get rid of it. I even tried doing like a quilt as you go so that I could just sort of lay it down and just start stitching on top. And I realized I don't like that. So I just have to be really patient and just sew a little bit here, sew a little bit there, because the pieces are so small. With that said, I realize that if I have pieces that are around, I'm guesstimating around 2 inches. Oh, this is going to be so nice. Now, you see that? It's closing all that in. And you go from the outside in, which just makes this so cool. People who do this, they usually have bigger stitches. I find that, I think it's because I sort of started doing the hand stitching with the slow stitching project, that I tend to do small stitches naturally. So I just go with it. But I know in the class, people had pretty big stitches. The biggest thing I would think is you want it consistent, and whatever your consistent is, then that's what it is. Now, and I'll show you when you get to the end. When you get to the end, whenever you're doing the quantity, that's when you sort of have to figure out whether you're going to overlap something on top or under, and you add the next piece right on top. So I'm going to pick another fabric. I have this gray. I think I want to, don't want to tangle it. I have this gray. I think I'm going to do a piece of blue. I don't want to make the pieces too big, but I don't want to make them super small either. Oh, this is a nice size. So I'm going to use this piece. And you do the same thing. You fold it under. And I sort of like fold it under 1/4 of an inch, and I finger press it a little bit, because if not, the ends are like flapping around. I mean, Do I want to? Y'all, I don't fully remember. So I just have to wing it. Every project, I end up feeling like I'm winging it. I'm really not trying to, but I don't know if I have a choice. So I'm gonna just fold this down. Once I get close, I'll show you guys. What I am gonna do is I'm gonna put a straight pan here. I cannot get away from winging it. Okay, I'm gonna put a straight pan so that it won't kind of move, I won't lose my fold. I don't know why I bought these pens. These are these little pens. The pin head on it is really easy to grip, but the neck on it, I don't know if that's the official term, but the neck on it is so small. But I found that I like using it when I'm doing this like hand sewing, because it's easy to get. They're very sharp, they work well, but they're so tiny as far as the neck of them, so it kind of makes them a little hard to use because they can feel like they can easily slip out. So where did I leave off? I'm sorry, y'all. I have to keep stopping. Um, so I decided that I was gonna find fabrics that would be roughly around. Ooh, do I want to do this like this? Yes, I do. That are around 2 inches by 1 inch, to turn those into fabric tabs and maybe layer just a little bit. Because they're so small, I think I'll have to sew them by hand or use glue. I'm thinking maybe fabric glue, maybe. And then I could add them to my Bible. My thought is I could use maybe, I have these mini staples. I could use staples, um, or um, I'm going to show you guys once this is like securely going. Um, I could use like either the mini staples, or I don't think I'm going to use glue. I do think there's going to be a little bit of machine stitching involved, because I do think if I don't know, maybe run a stitch through. Let me show you what I mean. Let's say this is the fabric. Let's say this is the fabric. What my thoughts are is to fold it like this. So you want it to be, because this is a to be a fabric tab. So I would fold it like this. And what I'm thinking is I would run a stitch from here to here. So this would sort of be like the little lip that you would actually maneuver. And then this portion is how you would adhere it to the page, whether you use glue or I think I'm going to end up using a staple. And then I think I'm going to do a little bit of decorating on it, because my thoughts are I will use the color scheme of the fabrics to know what the tabs are for, because you can't put anything on it. Like I could put a label, like a label, on there, but I don't want to put the plastic label or whatever on top of the fabric. So my thought was I would have like blue for my husband. I would do teal for me, like something like that. So I could pick any fabrics that are scraps that's in that sort of color spectrum. And then when you go to the actual page, it's already notated. And so, yeah. So if you guys want to see more of that, let me know. Like I could do a short, like 15-minute video. I've been prepping it already. And what I've done is I found this cute little box that my son gave me for, I think, I really think it was a Mother's Day. It was either Mother's Day or my birthday. And it is the cutest box. And so I was like, I will make up a bunch of them and just put them in there. And anytime I need a new tab or a label, a fabric label, I'll go in there and get it. So here we go. This is what I have so far. And now that new fabric is on, I'm going to leave that straight pin there. And I'm going to just keep going. And I'm honestly almost ready to put a new fabric on here. And I just put the binder clip or wonder clip a little, you know, to hold it in place while I'm stitching. Okay. That was that about, I did not mean to go into all of that about the labels, but I hope it makes sense. And if you know of something different, like, let me know. But I think it'll be a really great way to use up some of those scraps. And I think it would be really nice and in alignment with my aesthetic. So when I go to that Bible, you know, it will really feel like something that I would do. I already have like yarn tassels or whatever, yarn tassel paper clips. So that's already sort of a part of it that I have. This is going to be so nice. One more thing about this, they didn't say like a particular size to do these kawandis. The people, the women in, I guess, I'm going to say people, but I mostly saw women in the examples, but the people who make them as large as making them for a bed. Like they make mattresses like this. They make blankets like this. So now one thing that I didn't say, let's see if I can do this. When I finish it and I get ready to add the new fabric on, I actually leave this just straight because it's all getting sewn down anyway when I put the fabric on top. This time, I think I'm going to put the fabric underneath. So I'll leave myself about maybe like a half an inch to be able to maneuver it because I don't know. It just seems like enough where I could change my mind until I start stitching. And I just sort of put it in this, and right now I'm going to remove it because I don't know how I'm going to tuck this. I've done blue. I've done gray. I'm going to do this teal. It technically is probably a lot smaller than it should be, but it's what I had. So I'm going to finger press it a little bit. I said I'm going to put it underneath. So this is what it looks like when I'm pressing it. Like I have a little, this is a little bit over a quarter of an inch, and then a quarter of an inch, and then I'm going to tuck it right underneath there. But I honestly think I want to do the long end. So I need to tuck this end. I'm going to put it, I was going to do it under, but I like this star. I mean, over. No, I want to do it under. I want to do it under. I want to do it under. So I tuck the fabric I'm already doing under by like a quarter of an inch. And then I'm going to place the new fabric underneath. Once you go around this first time, it's a lot smoother because you're not adding on fabrics as frequently. But right now, I can't get past that. Now, for this one, I'm actually going to leave it just flat because it's going to get sewn down, but you do want the edge folded under so that it's a clean edge. Again, I'm going to pin it down, and then I'm going to put the wonder clip, and then in the famous words of Jamie Foxx, I'm going to make it do what it do. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'll show you once I kind of get it all anchored and Um, okay, let me show you. So what I did is I folded this edge under so that it will remain on top. And then I laid the teal flat underneath this lip. So if you were to see underneath here, it's like a little sandwich. See that? It's like a little sandwich right there. And I'm going to sew through all those layers. And that's why I have to stab stitch right there, because that is 2, 4, 6 plus batting layers. I'm going to put that clip right there so it'll hold everything together. And I just go really slow because I found that when I was trying to go fast, well, I wasn't trying to go fast, but it kind of, I guess I was a little bit, but I found that in the class when I was trying to go fast, I kept sticking myself. And I was only really trying to go fast because I wanted to get as much done in class as I could so that I could get help if I needed it. And yeah, that didn't go well. I kept stabbing myself, and so that wasn't good. So I just was like, okay, you just got to slow down. Okay. So now into the topic. I'm going to keep going. I'm just doing like a running stitch, keeping the needle on top, trying to keep all the layers as smooth as possible. And making sure that I try to pull it a little bit tight on this edge, because again, you are also securing the batting in place. Now, some of the people, when they were doing this, they cut their batting just a little bit shy of that edge so that you would not have to go through so many layers, but I didn't do that. I just ran it edge to edge, and I folded the edge over when I did the basting. And once I go all the way around once, I will remove the basting stitches, because while I'm doing this, my batting, my top, and my backing are all secure. So I can remove these basting stitches, and I put the basting thread in a little container, and I will use it again for another project. This basting thread is amazing too. It was such a great find. But with that said, so I'm going to show you the one more time. See? Now here on a traditional quandary, you add a little like tassel thing. I'm not going to do this because I was thinking that, oh, I just realized I cannot forget. Hold on. Ooh, I almost forgot. Ooh, oh no, I didn't. Woo! I like to have one color whenever I'm doing a prayer project that represents the triune God. And for this one, I'm doing like this fabric, so I'll put pieces throughout it. I in the past I've done blue, purple, some form of yellow. And at first I was going to use this really pretty yellow that I had that was, oh, don't pull it out, Dana. A pretty yellow that was a batik. But then I was like, I didn't want to mix batiks. So yeah. Okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. All right, now I can get to the real topic. And feel free to ask questions if you have them. I don't know if you will have questions about that though. I mean, this is just kind of, you just keep going. It's like a running stitch and you just keep going. And it really is relaxing. I find this easier than doing the slow stitch project that I did, because with that one, I had to like juggle all those pieces. I did eventually base them down so they didn't move around. With this, you're just stitching in a straight running stitch all the way around. So there's no like trying to figure out what stitch to do and is it decorative and is it cute or any of that stuff. It's just a straight running stitch. Okay, I need to add another fabric. Okay, I have this one. I'm going to use this one. That's under, that's over. I'm going to put this one over. Okay, so now to the topic. How much time do we have? Y'all, it has been, get the heck out of here. It's been 45 minutes. Oh my gosh. Who knew? Who knew? Okay. Okay, I'm going to do this just like before, prepping it. 1/4 inch. This one I'm going to put on top. Am I going to put it on top? I'm going to put it on top. Again. When I overlap it, again, I overlap it by about 1/4 inch. I think some people did as much as a 1/2 inch. I think it's just personal preference. I find that whenever, this is my own assessment, whenever you go to classes, I think, especially when it's for sewing, you can almost tell what the type of sewing that a person does by what they say about the hem or the stitch or the, like if you're stitching 1/4 inch, it's almost always they're a quilter. And then if it's someone that's a sewer, it's usually they'll say a 1/2 inch. But yeah. Okay. I'm gonna put a straight pin so that this is in place. I also like putting the straight pins because it keeps these fabrics smooth so that they're sort of not flapping around, because it will sort of feel like it's flapping around because technically it kind of is. So I'll show you. Let me just, I don't want to lose my needle and thread. I do sew with one thread, which is another reason why I like using quilting thread. I don't sew with it folded over. Like it's folded over here, but it's not folded over as I sew. So when you're doing this, look at your fabrics. They're just sort of like hanging there. And so having the straight pin, the pin there does help with that as well, so that they're sort of like are not flapping too much. There we go. Okay, let me keep going. Okay, let me get to the topic because we don't have much time. I guess, listen, y'all, let me know your thoughts about this. If you're working on something, let me know. I may not see your comment now, but I do come back and look for comments. Um, you know, please start doing comments and engaging with the videos because that just helps the person making the video. I mean, we all are on YouTube. We know how that works, but it never hurts to remind. Again, I stab stitch for those first couple of stitches so that it'll get really nice and it makes it so I can like get a really good, and I do give it a little bit of a tug. You know, you don't want to do too much to where you might break your thread, but you do want to make sure it's in there. And when you have all those layers, I find that if you give it a little tug, it also means that it sort of pulls those layers together so it doesn't look like you have so many layers, even though you do. Okay, topic. Y'all, this, the hair cutting was, I'm gonna start there because it's just easier to go back from that place. Was what I'm saying is like an outward sort of representation of something that I've been doing and working on when it comes to myself and how I want to show up And I actually can, I'm going to tell this as a story a little bit. I always am fascinated by women who are like older, even when I was younger, and I just thought that they were fly. Like, they just always like, it was like a confidence that you see both with their, how they carried themselves, but also just like everything about them, how they wore their hair, how they dressed. And when I was younger, I always thought about it as, somebody that was older, somebody older than you thought, oh, and they're in their 30s or, whatever. And now, girl, keep living. Um, but, somebody that just, the way they carried themselves, how, I'm picking another fabric, how they dressed. I just was always fascinated by that. And, I don't know. And to me, it's not like, I don't even know if I fully have words. It's not like, how would I say? Y'all, I don't know if I want to do huge chunks. I will have repeats. I'm okay with repeats. I just don't know. I try to vary the fabric sizes, and all of these were leftover pieces from when I did something else. I can't remember. Okay, this is a perfect piece, I think. Let me see. And you got to make sure like that it can reach the end. Like it's all this stuff you got to, when you're doing this first like round, because it's so important. Hold on. I'm going to line up the edge. Okay. So I was always fascinated by women that I felt like just, honestly, I guess now that I think about it, like exuded confidence and individuality. And sometimes it was even its own form of femininity. Um, and and in my mind, even as I say that, like there's people that I know just like off the top of my head that always were just very influential um, to me concerning this particular thing. Almost like a representation of womanhood, but just being mature, like a mature woman, You may not know, but that's the best way that I can say it. And so that it was always something that um, fascinated me. And then, like a few, probably like a few years ago, it just kept coming back. And I'm turning this because I need to prep this bottom corner. Um, I'm trying to make sure that it'll get me all the way to the edge. One of the things that I learned from my first one was like having large pieces makes this process a lot easier than a bunch of little pieces. Um, and now I'm like lining everything up. Okay. And so about 3 years ago, it just kept probably a little bit longer than 3 years ago. I really started thinking about that, about like how I wanted to be, like when I got into my, as I aged, in, yes, mobility and being able to move the way you want to and go and do things that you want to go and do and be who you want to be. And I also knew enough to know that that doesn't just happen, right? Like you got to be really intentional about how you live your life and how you show up and what you do. I'm putting a clip on the end. I think I have it pretty stable. I'll try to lift it and show it in just a second. And because I knew that, here's now, I've got that end set up. So I had to make it fit here and also fit across here. And so, make sure I don't lose my needle. And so I started thinking about that. And the first time, and it sort of started turning into these little projects. Like, y'all, this seems so weird trying to explain it. Like in my mind, I know what I was doing, and then I'm trying to explain it. It was like little projects, and they were like little projects for me, to me. Okay. And so, like, one of the first ones where I really was like, okay, this is how I want to show up. It was during the pandemic, and because I do a lot of coaching, I'm on camera a lot. I'm on calls, video calls a lot. Still am. And y'all know I'm gonna start like stab stitching it down. um, I was on a lot of calls, and so I started saying, you know what? I want to work on my skin. I want it so that I've never been a huge makeup wearer. I still am not. And so, but you want to look nice, right? You want to look your best. And I knew, well, if I want to look my best and I don't want to wear a lot of makeup, I'm going to work on my skin. And this turned into me starting to have, a night routine for my skin, a morning routine for my skin, certain products that I use. And as I've been doing this, I really wanted it to be something that, I'm not tagging in someone else. This is something that's for me, to me. And so I started working on my skin. And I knew it's something that was just going to take time. I wasn't rushing it, but I wanted it to be kind of like today. Like I get up, I wash my face. Y'all know I have to put on some eyebrows because I just don't have none. But that's it. Like I don't have no concealer on. I don't have this, that, and the other. And I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But when it's time, your girl know how to put it on. But I just don't want to have to. You know what I mean? Okay. So I started working on my skincare. And I was like, okay. And then for a while, like that's when I really started getting into like getting my nails done. And even though I like that, I love getting my nails done. I realized that I didn't like the time. It felt too maintenancey for me. I loved the look. So that's where down the line, like I learned how to do my own nails. Like I do my own nails. I did them today, like, and that came down the line. Okay, so I'm gonna keep sewing. So so first I started with my skincare. Then I started doing like my nails and my lashes. And eventually again I found that it was like really maintenancey to me. So now what I do when I want to do my lashes, I have magnetic lashes or I do them myself and I do my own nails. And it's like a pamper time. So I listen to my audiobook, I chill, and I do my nails, And granted, like if you want to go and do that, and treat yourself, do it. But the point was, like, to me, the way I show up, like, I want to feel good about like myself. And it's not even I just feel like I don't want it to feel like it's like a all external. And so, but some of the things like in the beginning, there were those things, but it was also things like reading certain books and spending more quiet time with God. And um another one of the things that I did was that's when I made the decision that I was going to start wearing all black. People have a lot of opinions about that. My daughter teases me all the time, but I'm going to tell you how it started. I travel quite a bit. I don't do it as much now as I used to, but I used to travel a lot. And I hated packing. I hated packing. I hated trying to figure out like what I'm going to take this time, this, that, and the other. And so to be able to travel and pack fairly quickly, I created like this staple packing lists that I would have. Y'all, this is connected, but it may seem random. But I always, so all black, except for maybe two different items, and I'll explain. But I would wear all black, and I would always take a pair of leggings. Everything was black. A pair of leggings, a pair of black pants that could be like dress pants, but a black pair of pants. I would take a short sleeve black shirt, a long sleeve black shirt. One would be a scoop, one would be a V. I would take a black sweater, a black hoodie, and then I could throw in a couple of things if I wanted to for a pop of color. And I didn't say it. I always, and I would also have a pair of shorts, or for me sometimes it would just be like capris. Okay. And would I take a couple of other things in there? Yeah, but those items would help me to get through all of my meetings or whatever I needed to do. I would sometimes, if I'm going to a conference, I would have a blazer in there, a nice black blazer. So that's what I would do. And once I did that after a few times and saw how much easier it was to navigate everything, I was like, why do I not do this all the time? And it made me think about, and then once I did that, I remember around that time, that's when I found out I didn't know a lot about Steve Jobs, but I mean, I used the products, but I didn't really know a lot about him, the man. But that's when I found out that he used to wear the same outfit every day. And the benefits of that, like of how you keep yourself from having like decision fatigue, and you save your decisions, for the big things. And I was like, I like this. And so it sort of like morphed into then me making that decision in my daily attire. And so I sort of just started having these small decisions that I was sort of adding up over time. And what I realized now is that it was essentially me creating these sort of micro habits that I'm doing over and over again, to the point where I don't have to think about any of that. I don't have to think about like a lot, like what I'm going to wear. I don't have to think about um what makeup I need to get, this, that, and other. Like everything that I pretty much do is like it's pretty smooth moving. Y'all, okay, let me show you. I'm now at the corner. I'm gonna try to, here we go. And now I'm turning the corner. I'm turning the wheel. I'm turning the wheel. Do you know what movie that's from? So it sort of turned into these series of micro habits that I was just doing naturally that felt good. And it was this constant, whether it was not getting, allowing myself to go into decision fatigue, or taking care of myself, showing up and feeling good, like waking up feeling good about how I look and how I feel in my skin. And another part of that has been, and then it continued. So some of the other ones, micro habits that sort of kind of like came into this was movement, and then going back to how I'm eating and how I'm doing things. And um, over the past few months, like I've released almost 40 pounds, and I'm still continuing. And it's been slow and steady and progressive. I'm not um, depriving myself of anything. I feel good. I feel like I look good, right? Like, and all of this is sort of like moving towards that vision of myself, and that I see, y'all. All of this is like moving towards like how I want to be when I'm 50 plus. You know, when I'm 50 plus, I want people to be like, wait, you 50? You're like, y'all got 2 more years and plus a couple months until I turn 50. And I'm like, y'all ain't gonna be able to tell me nothing. Y'all can't tell me nothing now, but y'all ain't gonna be able to tell me nothing. And what I absolutely love about it is the fact that it's what I'm doing for me, right? And so, with that said, that's where, like, my hair growing, um, I'd reached, pretty much like the goal that I sort of wanted, but also, like, I just felt like I knew it was going to be a time that was going to come, and I wanted a cute, fly, shortcut. Yeah, I used to wear my hair like this when I was younger. I used to wear it short. Um, I, okay. I used to wear it short because this is such an, other than, your regular maintenance that you have to do for short hair. It's just an easy maintenance, somewhat like, oh no, y'all, I accidentally came over the edge. I don't know how I did that. I'm going to remove that stitch. And then I'm going to rethread it. And so it was time. So the time meaning, y'all know if you've been around for a while, I have fine hair, thin fine hair. And if you haven't been around for a while, what's up? Hey girl, hey. Or hey guy, hey. And I knew, oh no, that doing this, I would need some time to like let my hair breathe and grow in and get used to being in this new state. And so that's when I did the do. I am going to do a couple more stitches and I think we're going to be done with this live. And so I want to say a couple things. I thought I had some notes. I want to say a couple things if you feel like this is something that resonates with you. I would say think about like how you want to show up. I think it's even more than who you want to be. And start making those small decisions that make you feel as if you're not waiting to meet her, that you are giving yourself the opportunity and the chance to be her now. Um, it may be, ooh, ouch, that like me doing the stuff for, getting my physical body where I want it to be, that it takes time. So the decisions that I make and the day to day of it is me showing up for her and being her now, not waiting. And also doing it in a way that is, that you are doing it in a way where you're being like it with grace. I have coffee. I made it. Yep. Because you was you was in it, so I had already made it. Oh. Yeah. And I got yep. And you was in the flow, so I was like, okay, I did it right before I started. All right. Sorry. Oh. Did I do it again? Y'all, this is one of the great things that's so great about the fact that you're using one string. If you kind of mess it up, you can pull the stitch out and then just... So, yeah, like how, what are the little ways that you can be her now, Um, what would like, and ask yourself, like in the beginning, I was like, how do I want to feel when I wake up? What do I want to do? How do I want to spend my mornings? What makes me feel joy and happiness like every day, not some days? Do you have times that's like, oh, that you just gotta, you just gotta do what you gotta do? Yes. But when you ask yourself those questions and you begin to do those micro habits, you have more days filled with joy that are of your doing than of somebody else or something else sort of being the source. It's like, you, like the God in you and the energy in you and the steps that you're taking, that is the source. Mm. Even like little things like having my favorite coffee. Y'all, I tried all these coffees, you know, so that when I say this is my favorite coffee, I know that. Not just I know that, my husband knows that. Um, Doing certain things and starting to wonder like, what do I like in this? What restaurants do I like? Like, what things do I enjoy doing? And starting to just sort of like take, you're having yourself going on this little like adventure that's all about you getting to know you. And in reality, it may even be you redefining you. And so I I feel like the um, haircut was one of the first, other than releasing the weight, one of the first big external manifestations of what I've been doing for years. And there's more to come. There's more to come. Yeah, I felt like, oh, I thought I got past the thick part, but I think I'm gonna buy this end. I'm gonna show you one more time where I'm at. Now, what's really interesting with this, when the thread ends, like she didn't have a specific way when we're in the class of the way you ended off. So I just ended off sort of like the way I would do with hand sewing, except it's a little bit easier because I sort of just tuck the end and I'll make a knot and sort of hide it underneath and then just keep it in, start a new thread and put it underneath and just keep it rolling. Hold on. I need to put, I think it was time for me to put one more. I changed to add one more. Feel free to ask any questions. I don't know, you know, honestly, that there will be questions about that because when it's all said and done, I'm going to use another big piece. Or do I want to use a little piece? When it's all said and done, oh, this is a huge piece. I don't want to do this big of one. I'm going to cut this down. Y'all, I absolutely love these scissors. Oh, they're the best. They're the perforated ones. Oh, I love them. I'm gonna cut this in half. I'm just gonna finger press it so I sort of have a loose line so that I can come back and use the other piece later. And then I'm gonna add this. Again, I'm just doing the sort of finger pressing with 1/4 of an inch. So I would say, if it's something that even interests you, I would just start either journaling. And I say that as somebody, I'm not a huge journaler. I do journal. I usually, I'll journal like my prayers. I'll journal when I need to think through things. I'll journal when I need to think through business decisions and things like that. But it's not something I do every single day. However, if it's something that I am making a decision on, I do allow myself plenty of bandwidth to think about it and to consider it. So when I'm doing slow stitching or I'm quilting or I'm knitting, I allow myself to meditate on that and pray over it, you know? So whatever it is that, you know, if it's something you are considering for yourself, take it into your quiet time, you know, and think about like, how do I want to show up? What makes me happy? Do I know what that is? And if you don't, write that down, right? Start asking yourself, start doing little projects, start trying new things. And what I love about this, I mean, other than like finding different, you know, products that I really liked or, um, finding different brands that I like. You know, a lot of this stuff is really just about you showing up for you. It's not a lot of things that you're buying unless you know, you can read books, go to the library, um, buy some things. I put them on my wish list, like for my birthday and anniversaries and Mother's Day or something like that, that would still help me get further in this personal quest for me. And y'all, I ain't seen nothing yet. I'm telling you. More to come, more to come, more to come. Okay, I'm stab stitching a little bit here because it is thick right here. More, Lord's will, more to come. Um, so now it's, you know, just going to be super short pixie. I'm going to more, you know, work to grow it out some, but I do plan to keep it short, giving myself plenty of wiggle room and bandwidth to, you know, if I want to throw a wig on, if I want to throw a cap on, if I want to throw a head wrap on. Like it's all about ease and comfort for myself. And yeah, ooh, this is gonna be so nice. Okay, I'm gonna show you in a little, show you another little peek before we sign out. If you are here or you've stopped through or you're still here, thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, let me know. Come back and let me know. Um, if you want me to show something else, y'all, I really don't know if I could do a tutorial on this. I mean, of course I could, but I'm sure there are people. I don't mind showing it. So if you want to see it in another way, then let me know. I'm going to do a couple more stitches. I just want to make sure I end it in a good place. Because I'm sure when I sign out, I'm going to do a little bit more, but I want to keep these kind of tight. I will be scheduling another one for next week. So you will see it. Make sure you click the reminder so that you'll get the reminder when it's time. And, you know, my goal is to do these weekly, but sometimes things change, you know? Sometimes things change, and I'm going to allow myself to go with the flow. Okay. I'm going to show you for a close out. Here was the start. And now I've turned the corner. I left the straight pins on these other ones just so that the 1/4 inch can sort of be established. You just have to be, pardon me, careful that you don't stick yourself, of course. It's time to add another fabric. I think I want to add, I'm going to add this black. I wish it was a little bit thicker, or like a little bit thicker, but these fabrics were some of the like pieces I had left over from other projects. So I tried to do nothing less than a 2.5 inch strip, but I think it would have been better if it was, oh, since this is so small, I'm going to lay it under so that I don't have to put the 1/4 inch. I'm gonna lay it under. Okay, I'm gonna lay it under. I'm gonna go ahead and do this last piece. I'm gonna add this last piece on here, and then I'll sign out. Let me know in the comments, like what are your thoughts on, because I don't consider this self-care, but I guess you could, like on self-care. Is it something that you do? And if so, like what are some of the things that you like to do for self-care? I'm gonna do a 1/4 inch here, and I'm gonna tuck it. You know what? I need to pull this out. Okay, for the fabric that is being tucked, I like to stop about like a 1/2 inch out, so that you have enough like space to fold it under and all of that. So I like to stop at about a 1/2 inch or more out, not too much, but enough. Let me put this needle on. And then because this piece of fabric is only 2.5 inches, I'm gonna tuck it underneath. There we go. Okay, and then I'll show you before I close this out. Let me know in the comments, what do you like to do for self-care? Have you ever done a little like personal growth projects for yourself? This is gonna be, I think this is gonna look so nice. Okay, let me show you. I'm putting the clip on. And I'm also, these clips really help to keep it smooth. Like you don't want it to pucker. And the pins help to keep it kind of like straight and in place. So it kind of serves multiple purposes. Okay. And I'm just gonna sort of stab stitch my way through this a little bit over a 1/4 inch, maybe about a third, because you're going through, ouch, a lot of layers. And I'll show you, and then I'll close this out. Oh. Again, I make my stitches kind of on the small side. When I saw people in the class, a lot of them had bigger stitches. I think it's personal preference. I mean, you would not want to go this small if you had like a really big project. I think that would make it take forever, but you may want that. It also affects like how like fluid it is, like how much movement it has, because when you're going around, ultimately you are doing a lot of stitching. So, And I do try when I can. I try my best if I can to go through like almost at the very corner of the piece that's on top so that it is getting stitched down really well. Um, and I'll show as soon as I get like one more stitch, and then this will be it. So I will see you all next week. Thank you so much for joining me. If you're watching the replay, I hope that you've enjoyed this time. I hope that you got some work done. I also hope that it maybe made you think a little bit. But most importantly, I hope that you relaxed. And let me show you. I will say this too about this. Y'all, my stitches are like not straight. Like when you see it on the back, but I don't, they're not straight. I try my best. I think they'll probably get straighter the more you get used to it in time, but there we go. That's the edge. And then that's the beginning. And I would say this is about, maybe about 14 inches, 14 by 14, something like that. I wanted it to be big enough that he could carry, but small enough, or small enough and big enough that he could carry, like in his bag, and know, like think and know that, you know, prayers are being said for him, about him, towards him. This is the piece I'm going to do next. And so, yeah. And so with that said, thank you for joining me. I will see you all really, really soon. If you haven't done so already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, leave a comment, and let me know what you are working on. And if there's anything you would like to see me do or share in another, you know, capacity. I know you guys can't see this. This is meant for you to be working and me to be working at the same time. But, you know, we may be able to do a tutorial later if that's what everyone wants. But more than anything, I hope you just enjoyed yourself and you gave yourself a little bit of time to craft. And that I've kept you company while you crafted the way that you have kept me company while I crafted. So with that said, take care, and I will see you all hopefully sooner than later. And goodbye.